Good evening. I am John Eaton, President of the Lorraine Medina Rural Electric Cooperative Board of Trustees. Before we begin, please note that there is no two-way chat feature on this meeting. Any questions will be addressed during the question and answer portion towards the end of this meeting. Before we call the meeting to order, we would like to begin with the national anthem performed by Annika Campbell.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, we're so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
As President of the Board of Trustees, I call the 85th meeting of Lorraine Medina Rural Electric to order. I would now like to introduce Dan Gallatin, LMRE meter technician, to deliver tonight's invocation, followed by Brenda Wolf, Board Secretary, to give the proof of notice of the meeting.
If you'd please bow your heads. Dear Lord, we're gathered here today to give thanks for a wonderful year without incident, to give thanks to our board members and our staff here at LMRE, and we pray that we have another great year without incident and accident, and that we make good decisions and always think about what you would do in the situations that we're faced. In your name I pray, amen.
I present the following. First, a copy of the notice of meeting dated April 26, 2021, stating the time, place, and purpose of the meeting. Next, an affidavit executed by Jeff McAllister, Managing Editor for Ohio's Electric Cooperatives, showing a copy of the notice of the meeting to each member of the cooperative and a list of the members of the cooperative, and a certificate attesting to the number of members, the number of consumers, and the number of non-member consumers. Before this meeting, you received a copy of the minutes of the 2020 annual meeting of members to be considered for your approval. These minutes were also made available on the cooperative's website. Thank you.
The Secretary is directed to incorporate the copy of the notice of meeting together with the affidavit of mailing of the notice in the minute book of the cooperative. Our registration total shows 661 members registered. According to the Code of Regulations of the cooperative, the members attending this duly called meeting constitute a quorum. Consequently, I now declare this annual meeting of the members of Lorraine Medina Rural Electric Cooperative Incorporated lawfully and properly convened and ready to proceed for the transaction of business. It has become customary to waive the reading of the notice of the meeting and the minutes of the last meeting of members of the cooperative. We will now ask for a motion, second, and vote to waive the notice and the reading of the minutes. To participate, please click the Ask a Question button on the bottom part of your screen and type your full name and township to be recognized. Do I have a motion to waive the notice of the reading of the approved minutes of the 2020 annual meeting? Again, if you would like to offer the motion to approve the minutes, please click the Ask a Question button and type your full name and township to sponsor this motion. I have a motion from Robert Sterl of Brighton Township. Do I have a second for this motion to approve the minutes? Please click the Ask a Question button and type your full name and township. I have a second to the motion from Melissa Clifford of Pittsfield Township. A poll to vote on the motion will now appear on your screen. Please select yes or no to submit your vote. Members who are listening on the phone can press 1 for yes and 2 for no. According to the poll, we have a majority to approve the motion. I would now like to introduce your current Board of Trustees. I am President John Eaton from Huntington Township, serving District 4 since 1984. Vice President and District 1 Trustee Gary Rowland from Brighton Township, serving since 1978. Secretary Brenda Wolf of Sullivan Township, serving District 7 since 2015. Treasurer Keith Lowe from Homerville in District 8, serving since 1997. Trustee Jim McConnell of Pittsfield Township, serving District 2 since 1997. District 3 Trustee Kathleen Norton Fox of Grafton, serving since 2016. Trustee Judy Pickworth of LaGrange, serving District 5 since 2006. Trustee Joe Swinkle of Litchfield, serving District 6 since 2018. And Trustee Dick Indo of Harrisville Township, serving District 9 since 2000. Before we continue, I would like to remind everyone to please submit any questions you may have via the box on your screen at the bottom or by dialing *3 for phone participants. We will be addressing them following the reports. I would now like to introduce Attorney Dave Harwood for the election and voting results.
In this year's election, the membership elected 3 trustees to the board, 1 each from Districts 2, 5, and 8. And again in this year's election, Co-op Ballot of Dublin, Ohio, conducted it. Candidates for trustee are nominated by the petition process. Any member who wishes to run for trustee from the district in which he or she resides files a petition signed by at least 25 members of the cooperative who also reside in that district. If more than 2 petitions are filed in a district, then a runoff election is held by mail within that district. And those 2 individuals receiving the highest number of votes are declared the 2 official candidates who then stand for election before the entire membership. Petitions were filed this year by Jim McConnell from District 2, Judy Pickworth and Kathleen Duplega from District 5, and Keith Lowe from District 8. At last year's annual meeting, you might remember the membership adopted a code amendment which eliminated the requirement for a ballot in any uncontested election and deemed any unopposed candidate elected by the membership. Therefore, pursuant to our Code of Regulations, Jim McConnell has been deemed elected as our trustee from District 2 and Keith Lowe as our trustee from District 8. For our District 5 contested election, Co-op ballot did provide each member with a ballot that identified the candidates and also gave the members instructions on how the member could cast their vote. Voting commenced on Wednesday, June 17th, and ballots had to be received back by Friday, July 9th at 11:59 a.m. in order to be counted. When elections are conducted by mail and electronically, no actual voting takes place at the annual meeting, and instead just the results are announced. Co-op ballot has certified to the Cooperatives Election Committee that there were 2,080 valid ballots cast in this year's District 5 election. 1,719 of those were cast by mail, and 361 of those votes were cast electronically. Co-op ballot has certified that Judy Pickworth received 1,045 votes for trustee, and Kathleen Duplaga received 1,034 votes. Judy, therefore, has been certified by co-op ballot as our newly elected trustee from District 5. All three of our elected trustees will serve 3-year terms on the board. Congratulations to each of them, and thanks to each of our members who participated in this year's election process.
I'd like to start by thanking everyone for joining us today at the 85th annual meeting of Lorraine Medina Rural Electric Cooperative. We are still adjusting to the many changes caused by COVID, and everyone here at the co-op appreciates your attendance and participation in this year's annual meeting. The pandemic challenged you, our members, and our employees. After more than a year with many employees working remotely and the office closed to the public to maintain the health and safety of everyone, we are pleased to have already begun the process of getting back to a normal routine. Employees have returned to the office and the lobby opened July 6th. We cannot thank the co-op staff enough for their continued hard work and dedication to the members each and every day as they adjusted to the new operations and procedures needed to keep everyone safe. Speaking of the office, I'd like to discuss our new headquarters project. After several delays due to COVID, we are beginning to make progress towards a groundbreaking. Anyone that has visited our current building knows that the need is definitely there. At more than 70 years old, we have run out of space for employees and the resources needed to operate efficiently. Due to a large number of gas lines located across the property and our need for more space, the board has made the decision to build a new headquarters in Spencer on land the cooperative purchased years ago as part of an economic development opportunity. We have hope that the new headquarters will act as a catalyst for new business to move into the area. As we progress on the building plan, we will keep the membership up to date through our website and social media accounts. One of the things I continue to be most proud of, not only as a board trustee, but also as an LMRE member, is the continued success of Operation Roundup and the People Fund. It remains dedicated to giving our members and communities the extra helping hand we all may need sometime. Thanks to the important work of our 9 People Fund board members who are all volunteers, 27 grants totaling $70,604 went to deserving organizations and individuals in our area in 2020. The pennies rounded up on your bills can truly make a difference in our communities. I'm pleased to report that 85% of LMRE members participate in Operation Roundup and the People Fund, and I thank each of you for your contributions. I would like to take a moment to recognize the LMRE members who serve on the People Fund Board and devote their personal time running this effort. Rick Dumperth, President from District 9. Ken Dietrich, Vice President, District 3. Janice Brill, Secretary from District 2. Pam Menzel, Treasurer, District 1. Jackie Johnson, District 4. Pat Hamker, District 5. Patrick Posada, District 6. Christina Jordan, District 7. And Jim Miller, District 8. Thank you for volunteering for your time. As a not-for-profit, we always keep our members' interests in mind. LMRE gives you access to our knowledgeable energy advisors to help guide you on all the energy efficiency decisions around your home and business. Solar continues to be a big discussion in our area, and we encourage all members of LMRE to make LMRE and these advisors your first call when considering if solar is right for you. We can provide you with the pros and cons of solar, how it would tie into LMRE's distribution grid and net metering policies, or if there is a cheaper, easier changes you can make at your home to reduce your electric bill. Our goal is always to make sure you, as members, have the most accurate and helpful information when it comes to your electricity. As cooperative members, we have the opportunity to participate on a national platform to encourage legislators to advocate for topics in our best interest. We can do this through our participation in ACRE, the Action Committee for Rural Electrification, which is a federal political action committee of the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association. ACRE allows you and members to raise your voices on behalf of the cooperative, to state and federal government officials who make decisions that affect our way of life. To join, it is only $25 a year, or $2.08 added to your electric bill each month. The money is used to directly support candidates or incumbents who will speak for and protect the interests of electric co-ops. I would encourage all LMRE members to consider adding their voice to this worthy effort. Sign up is easy, and the form to do so can be found on our website. Thank you to everyone who already participates in ACRE to promote the best interests of electric co-ops around the state and country. Thank you again for joining us this year for this year's annual meeting. Your participation in the governance of Lorain-Medina Rural Electric, your not-for-profit cooperative, is such a huge part of what sets electric co-ops apart in the interest. On behalf of my fellow board members and the employees of LMRE, it is an honor to continue to serve you for another year. At this time, we'd like to share with you an update from Buckeye Power.
Hello, I'm Pat O'Loughlin, President and CEO of Ohio's Electric Cooperatives, your wholesale power provider and statewide services association. Thank you for attending your co-op's annual meeting and participating in its democratic process. Engaged members like you ensure the continued strength of our electric cooperative network. For more than a year, COVID has changed the way many businesses operate, and electric cooperatives were no exception. Co-ops like yours took unprecedented steps to ensure the health and safety of their members and employees while keeping the lights on. We faced similar challenges to keep our generation plants fully operational the entire time. As we transition back to a more normal way of doing things, we've learned a lot about keeping the power flowing to our members during a crisis, and we believe it's better prepared us for future operational challenges we may face. Buckeye Power is in an exceptional position to deliver electricity to the 400,000 Ohio Electric Cooperative members reliably, affordably, and in an environmentally responsible way. It's this balance that is part of Buckeye Power's mission, and something every Ohioan should expect. One part of the equation that cannot be sacrificed is reliability, because that impacts our economy and the health and safety of every person. Texas and California pursued poorly planned energy markets that resulted in forced blackouts just in this past year and high electric bills. They relied too much on uncontrollable renewable energy sources without considering reliability impacts. Texas endured not only destructive blackouts, but incurred electric system costs that will take years to recover. Fortunately, Buckeye Power is part of a regional network that plans for an adequate level of resources plus a healthy reserve margin. However, the Midwest isn't without risks like Texas and California. Our region was threatened most recently during the polar vortex of 2014, where load was high and our power system had difficulty keeping up. Several baseload coal plants have been closed since, replaced by natural gas plants and some renewable resources that may not be available during extreme cold weather events. Buckeye Power provides your electricity supply from clean baseload coal plants, modern natural gas plants, and about 6% of your energy from a mix of renewable resources, including hydropower, biomass, and solar. We're currently working to double our solar output over the next year. Our diverse resource mix allows us to ensure you have power when you need it, while keeping wholesale power costs flat for the past 10 years. While Buckeye Power generates reliable and affordable power, it's your co-op that has the incredible responsibility to deliver that power to your homes and businesses. That takes a team of dedicated people working together every day. Your state trade association operates behind the scenes in support of your cooperative. Here are some fast facts about the Ohio Cooperative Program that I think you'll find important in 2021. We will have 128 apprentice linemen enrolled in the Central Ohio Line Worker Training Program, learning safe and effective work practices. Our team will deliver more than 400 safety training sessions at Ohio's 24 electric cooperatives. We will invest more than $2 million in energy efficiency, economic development, and education programs to help members use energy more wisely. We will produce and mail 3.6 million copies of Ohio Cooperative Living magazine to homes and businesses served by an electric cooperative. Ohio's 24 distribution cooperatives will refund more than $37 million in excess revenue earned in past years to its members, staying true to our nonprofit business model. We will again outperform investor-owned and municipal utility counterparts in customer service and reliability as measured by the American Consumer Satisfaction Index survey. Our employees and boards will support countless community projects through bill roundup programs and local participation. We will support well more than 100 state and federally elected officials through our Political Action Committee, recognizing those who support electric cooperatives, be they Democrats or Republicans. In a year of countless challenges, Ohio's electric cooperative network once again proved its strength and resilience. I congratulate all of you for your role in your co-op's continued success, and thank you again for the privilege of speaking at your annual meeting.
Good evening. My name's Ed Van Hoos, and I'm the General Manager for Lorraine Medina Rural Electric. At this time, I would like to recognize our 2021 Children of Members Scholarship winners. Molly Cordonier, a Black River High School graduate, and Brooks Powali from Cloverleaf High School both earned our $3,000 scholarships. Molly also earned an additional $1,400 scholarship from our statewide association. Madeline Almond of Crestview High School and Timothy Pasta of Midview High School earned the cooperative's $2,000 scholarships. And this year, because we couldn't hold our usual youth tour and youth day events, the board also approved additional $500 scholarships to our remaining top 6 applicants. We encourage all graduating seniors who are children of LMRE members to apply for these scholarships. Keep in mind they're competitive, but also provide great opportunities for graduating seniors to learn about interviewing and presenting themselves professionally. I want to start tonight just by telling you thank you. First, thank you to the board for the opportunity to continue to serve in my role here with the co-op. And thank you to the employees, because without them, we would not be able to provide the high level of service that we do. Thank you to my family and to my wife, Melissa. I appreciate everything that you do for me and that you're there to support me. And thank you, the membership, because again, you provide us the opportunity to provide the high level of service that I know you've come to expect from us. I'd like to talk to you just about a couple of items, really. One, you heard John earlier mention the impact of coronavirus. I'm proud to say that throughout the pandemic, our employees and our board both responded in just astounding ways to continue to help in any way that we could with our communities. I have nothing but the highest praise for our employees and their response during this time. Last year, we even at the board level took the initiative to provide capital credits back early, just to try and get people through. And again, this year, you can expect the same thing in November, December, when we retire capital credits again. As of the beginning of July, we've returned back to normal. Our lobbies are open. We are lifting restrictions. And that's what you're seeing pretty much around the state and around the country. Of course, we keep monitoring the situation. And should we find the need to reinstitute safety measures of some kind, then we will certainly do so. This also means that we'll begin to have our in-home visits from energy auditors again. And I really hope that many of you who have been waiting for those will find that you'll catch up pretty quickly. That brings me to another topic. Energy efficiency is probably the best way that you can invest your dollars if you're looking for ways to lower your electric bill. But what we're finding is that there are some unscrupulous solar members or solar companies out there who are visiting members and giving projections that are just not based in reality. We're continuing to see this misinformation spread, but we've had a pretty good success providing accurate information to you. It's just that every once in a while, we don't hear from you before you sign the contract, and we can't give you the accurate projections that you need in order to make the right decision. So I want to reemphasize, call us before you sign. Now, I don't want you to think we're against solar. You just heard Pat from the statewide talk about the solar installation that we have with our solar program, and we're looking at expanding that program. I'm not against solar. I'm against you guys being taken advantage of. And the information that's being provided by some of these companies, not all of them, but some of these companies, has no basis in reality. So help us help you by calling us and letting us assist you with making sure that you have the right information. Moving on to broadband. Obviously, the results of the RDOF auction, the auction that the FCC held last year, were disappointing to say the least. That auction did not go the way that anybody thought it would, and they ended up only giving out about half the money. So therefore, we have to take kind of a step backwards. And we're looking right now at funding options on what we can do to be able to provide some kind of solution to you. The board takes this very seriously. We know there's a need out there. And I'm working with them to try and find ways to fulfill that need in cooperation with our other partners, the other electric cooperatives that border us. We just recently completed a speed test survey where we asked you to fill out a survey from our website, and as part of that, you took a test to see what kind of internet speed you had actually available. I can tell you the results of that were not surprising. They line up with exactly the stories that you have told us, and that is that the service that was reported that you have, you simply do not have. We're going to take that message to legislature and make sure that they get to hear from it too. John spoke briefly about the headquarters building. I can tell you the timeline has been disrupted due to COVID. We're still trying to move ahead. There are some permitting issues that we're dealing with, and we may or may not see groundbreaking this year, but we're still looking at moving ahead with the headquarters. And I want to assure you, we don't anticipate any rate impact due to the building. We're looking at trying to make sure that we take creative ways to finance the building so that that way we're just replacing what we have. And so far, that has worked very well. As I look at planning for the future, there's a real generational shift going on at the co-op. And I think this is happening nationally. We have a lot of retirees. The baby boomer generation is retiring out of the workforce. That means you're going to see a lot of new faces. That also means we get a chance to make a lot of new friends and inspire the next generation to be able to come to love this cooperative business model the same way that I do, where we're just dedicated toward whatever we can do to help serve you. The new employees tend to be more active in the political realm. They tend to be more involved in their communities and more involved in economic development than what I think they're given credit for. We all hear statements like, oh, those darn millennials, you know. But I can tell you, some of the younger people that work for me are some of the most motivated and driven people that I know. And they really just want to do whatever they can do to be able to provide the highest level of service to you. After all, you shouldn't forget our base business model. We don't. It's keeping the lights on for you, high quality member service, and continuously looking at ways that we can improve our service offerings to you. With that, I'll invite John back up and we'll take some of your questions. I know we've gotten some that have already been provided, and we're going to look through some of those. I want to say this, though. If you ask a question specifically about your bill, we're not going to answer that right here. That's a private matter with you. But what we will do is we'll follow up with you, and you can expect a phone call from somebody within the next day or two. Okay? So for things like that, we will make sure that you get an answer, but probably won't be discussing those in front of the entire membership. So let's go ahead and start down this, John. So the first thing is, Fred Swanson has said that he has heard that LMRE wants to go underground with all residential. And I think a couple of other people said the same thing. I will say this, Fred. Our engineering team takes very seriously their job, and they look at every new installation that we have. And where it makes sense to go underground, they definitely do that. And where it makes sense to stay overhead, they do that as well. So it's kind of an individualized basis. I don't have any grand plan to go through and replace everything we have and go underground with all of our installations. To do so would be incredibly expensive, and you would see a massive rate impact. So in other words, your bills would go up pretty dramatically if we did that just across the board and went back and took out everything overhead and put it all underground, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. BJ Carson, what do I do if my pole is leaning, and how often are they replaced? So if you do have a leaning pole or something damaged or something like that, make sure you call the co-op. The operations department will take your call. They'll issue a service order. We'll come look at it. Sometimes poles lean a little bit and it's not a big deal. Sometimes it is a big deal. So if you have a concern, give us a call and we'll look at it. As far as how often they're replaced, we do a rotating cycle of pole inspections on an annual basis, and we inspect thousands of them. And depending on how that inspection goes, the pole may be scheduled for replacement or it may not. There's a rigorous testing process that all poles are done. So there's not like I can tell you absolutely that one pole is going to be replaced that specific year. It's whether or not it passes the test. Tom Smith, how are rates compared to Ohio Edison? Well, I can tell you, co-ops serve rural areas, right? So if you think about what that means for us, our density, our population density is always going to be much lower than if you were, say, serving Cleveland, which means that our costs are going to be higher. And since our costs are what we base our rates on, being a not-for-profit, That means typically you're going to see a little bit higher rates. But I can tell you this, I'm very proud to say that we are incredibly competitive, even despite the density issues that we have. I think LMRE does a great job of making sure that our rates stay competitive. John, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Just, you said it, that compared to our density, we do very well compared to any municipal or Ohio Edison, who has maybe 50 per mile when we got 10.
Yep. It's definitely a more challenging business, but we do a very good job at it, and we take it very seriously, and we look at rates annually. Which brings the next question, are rates remaining the same or going up next year? I honestly don't know anything that's going to remain the same next year. As you have seen with pretty much everything out there right now, every commodity, I believe you're seeing price increases across the board. We haven't completed our cost of service and rate analysis yet for this year, but given what's happening to the price of commodities in the market, particularly what happened with wood and steel and cable and even the resin or the treatment that we use for poles, all of those things are going up. I would anticipate you're going to see some kind of increase. We don't really have a feel for exactly what that is yet, and we won't till a little bit later in the year. Jeffrey wants to know, in what ways does being a member benefit the consumer? So, first and foremost, John's a member. John's on the board.
Yes,
Right.
I'm also an owner.
Yes.
And when there's a profit, which we make profit just like everybody else, the difference is that profits go back to our members as capital credits. So you get the money back instead of going to a investor.
Yep. So it doesn't go to the New York Stock Exchange. It goes on an account that is set there for you. And at some point, the board authorizes retiring that back to you every year, which is what I talked about a little bit earlier with the capital credit retirements. There's no other business model that really does that. We're heavily involved in our communities. And I mean, if you think about it, we are you. I mean, you're our owners. The board of directors come directly from the membership. There's no other business model like this where we can say that everything we do just revolves around what our members want and need. Do you have any other questions over there? Just 1 second. Let's see what we got. You talked about solar. Do you recommend solar for homeowners themselves to install by themselves? Boy, that's tough. It's going to really depend on your technical expertise and whether or not you think you can do that. There's a lot of requirements on inspections, and you have to have an engineer sign off on it before it can be interconnected to the grid. So I would say probably not everybody, but there may be some people out there who are capable of doing something like that. I wouldn't put it past some people. I know we have some engineers on our lines, so but definitely call us no matter what you're trying to do so that we can help give you some good advice on that. Is there going to be, I don't know this word. 1 second, sorry.
That's their name, Michelle.
Oh, got it. All right, so Michelle Hunkley asked, is there going to be a solar panel member sponsorship with the future solar field? Yes. Just like we had with our Solar 1, we're going to do the same thing with our Solar 2. I think they're planning to break ground early next year, and then they'll work through getting that all in place. We have a list right now of people who are interested. If you're interested and want to get on the waiting list so that we know that you want to be involved, please call us and we will get you to the right people so that way you can get signed up as well. My goal would be that, because it's going to be first come, first serve, that our co-op takes almost all of them. So that way it'll tell us that there's a need out there that maybe we want to do another one. So that's what we're looking for. Okay, there's a couple of other questions that are a little bit more direct, and we'll get back to you on those if you didn't hear your question answered. But I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come to your meeting tonight. It's important. It allows you to participate in the democratic process and to hear what's going on with your co-op. And look forward to seeing you all out and about and seeing you next year at this meeting again. Thank you. John, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Ed. At this time, I would ask if there's any unfinished business to come before the membership. Hearing none, do we have any new business to come before the membership? Seeing none, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you for attending this year's annual meeting. Stay healthy, safe, and we hope to see you all soon.